嗨嗨嗨！欢迎大家来到果果的新闻频道。本期重要看点：一位印度资深记者第一次去了中国，结果回来后完全变了一个人。他去的不是北京，也不是上海，而是天津，这个在中国 GDP 排名进不了前10的城市。但回来后，他说了一句特别扎心的话：我现在具体了解了哪里的差距，我知道我们需要做什么来缩小这个差距。更夸张的是，这位记者说，天津的发展水平就像纽约最好的地段一样，他被中国的基础建设震惊到了，说中国的道路又直又长，而印度的道路总是弯弯绕绕，要绕开各种障碍。但最让人意外的是，他回到印度后，竟然开始反思印度的发展模式，甚至建设印度要学习中国的远见和团结精神。一个印度记者公开夸中国，这在印度媒体界可不常见啊。那么这位记者在中国到底看到了什么？为什么会有这么大的心理冲击？他对中印发展模式又有什么独特的思考？请看前方发来的报道。
We'll go to Rahul Shivshankar, who's just come back from Tianjin on the sidelines of the SCO. We'll talk about SCO, we'll talk about GST, but Rahul, ni hao ma.
I made the heavenly crossing. Tianjin is called heavenly crossing, by the way.
So how
And so
heavenly
did the
was it,
Prime
or
Minister.
how nightmarish was it?
Well, it's not a nightmare. Look, this is my first time in China. Its reputation, of course, here in India is very different from what you encounter. So, obviously, there are two faces to this country. The one that they project through hard power internationally, and the one they reserve for people who visit, which is an extremely cordial, amenable sort, very courteous. Nothing is ever out of place, nothing is ever said out of place. And quite frankly, the country intimidates because you see the kind of development that you see only in the West. Perhaps this is even now at some levels, and Tianjin is not even in the top 10 by GDP cities. But it looks as if China is far ahead right now.
He's come back a changed man. He's been there.
But I haven't come back a changed man.
His pride is where's
I've understood the gap now in concrete terms and what we need to do to close this gap.
How big is the gap?
Look, I can't put it down. So let me put it this way. If people have gone to Singapore or people have gone to the best parts of America,
Let's say New York, yeah.
New York, well, it's a lot of that.
Okay.
Constantly. Tianjin is a slightly different kettle of fish from what I'm told the other cities are, because it retains a lot of its colonial past. So it's got 6 different colonial concessions were there. And you see architecture that you'll see in Prague or in the continent. And then you see it here. And they are almost, there's this hulking presence of a faux brutalist style of architecture that you encounter in communist countries of the old Soviet Union. So towering, hulking buildings. Now, of course, sort of gleaming with glass frontages.
So now you have all of these, like you would go to a central business district, like you would go to,
Exactly.
Times
So
Square
it's towering,
Yeah.
but then you have these beautiful squat buildings which are a nod to their past. But these buildings assert themselves, like the incredible Hulk would, to say that, look, we've beaten that.
Yeah.
That was where we were. We're not destroying it, but we built on that, and we're here. The thing is that these are, look, I have this theory about where the roads are really straight and long. You see those in countries where land acquisition happens like that. China, being a bit of an authoritarian state, has the leeway to say, okay, we want to build something now, here, and it will be built.
Yeah.
In India, you'll see, roads.
You circumvent and you adjust and make...
Or stalled sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
projects, and we know of a few just in Delhi.
Correct.
And then, of course, in America, where the land, was the gateway to settlement. So you had a road first, and then people came, or the railroad first, and then people came and settled around it. So that's the difference. But there is definitely, there is very little spontaneity in the society. So there's no real sense of openness and freedom. And you have that debate with yourself, whether you like it or not. What is freedom? What does it mean? Does it mean that everyone should be liberated from hunger? Because if that is what it means to you elementally, then, well, this is a successful model. But if it means that everyone should be liberated from a certain straitjacket, and should have the ability to express their individuality, then obviously we have the Indian, the American model, and the European model, and so there are two competing models.
Correct. Okay.
And I am somewhere right now, straddling the middle. I don't know, maybe we could have adopted some from here and taken some from here. But I think we really need to develop now a sense of community and urgency.
Yeah, so that I think as a society needs to percolate.
You can't leave everything now to the Mai Baap Sarkar if you have to succeed today. Yes, it can be a facilitator, but the level of discipline, cleanliness, and we were having that conversation that if people get a home and a roof above their head, certain amount of predictability and permanence, you might feel that you're part, you got a stake in this society, so you'll probably work together. It's like, all of us living in apartments, for example, you have RWAs or neighborhoods, and you actually do work with your neighbors to try and make life easier and more conducive for yourselves. A lot of Indians don't have that luxury, and maybe that's why we are sort of, and it's all pop psychology and sociology, but maybe we don't have so many, attachments to where we are, so we don't think in a community way, in a community space. I think that time has come.
Right. So let's try and understand where was Bharat in terms of perception and also at the table. So was it all purely optics, very carefully crafted, or really there was a sense of elevation in the stature for Bharat and Prime Minister Modi?
Look, there's no doubt that among even ordinary Chinese, there is now respect for Bharat.
Okay.
They have realized that this is not another Pakistan that you can, reduce to a client state. This is a serious world power. This is a power that we have to contend with. Now we can choose to respect it, or we can choose to, have an antagonistic relationship with. The sense I was getting, and remember, the Prime Minister not only met also a very high-ranking official, Sai Chi from the Communist Party, which shows that the Chinese are this time interested in, at some level or the other, trying to ensure that we have a degree now of cooperation between us.
精彩视频看完了，一次天津之行，印度记者梦醒啦。这位印度记者拉胡尔第一次去中国，去的是天津，这个不入前10的城市，结果回来就像换了个人似的，满嘴都是对中国的赞叹。他说的最直接的一句话就是我现在具体明白了哪里的差距。这句话听上去有点扎心，但确实很真实。一个在印度媒体圈混了这么多年的资深记者，亲眼看到中国的发展后，那种是装不出来的。特别是他对中国的城市规划的观察，他说中国的道路又直又长，这在土地征用中很容易看到，而印度的道路总是弯弯绕绕，要绕开这个隐秘之处。细节描述其实很明显，反映的两种不同的治理能力和执行效率。令人印象深刻的是，他坦率地承认了中国模式的成功，但同时也困惑着价值观的问题。他在想，到底什么是自由？是让所有权摆脱饥饿重要，还是让所有权能够表达个性重要？这种内心的挣扎很真实，也很人性化。说到底，这位记者回国后的感慨还是挺真实的。他说印度需要学习中国的远见、团结、紧迫感，甚至建议印度要学习中国和俄罗斯国家媒体策略。这些建议听起来很合理，但也说明他确实被中国的发展速度震惊到了。 最让人感慨的是，他提到社区意识问题。他觉得中国人注重集体意识，因为大家都有稳定的保障和可预期的生活，所以愿意为社区建设而出力。而印度很多人连基本安全都没有解决，自然谈不上什么集体意识了。从这个采访能看出来，即使是印度的知识分子面对中国发展成就，也不得不承认差距。当然，他们也在思考如何在保持自己价值观的同时学习中国的成功经验。这种务实的态度比那些一味唱衰或者盲目自大的声音可贵多了。总的来说，这次天津之行确实让这位印度记者惊艳了，也让我们看到了印度知识分子是如何看待中印差距的。谢谢大家观看，喜欢请点赞、评论加订阅，你的支持是我最大动力。比心，明天见，拜拜。